Have you ever been stuck in that cycle? You know the one? You diet, you lose a few pounds, you're feeling on top of the world, and then almost like clockwork, the weight just creeps back on. It's so frustrating. Well, today we are going to break that cycle for good. We're going to dig into the real science of why that happens and, more importantly, uncover a way smarter path to getting results that actually stick. All right, let's jump right in. So first, let's just acknowledge this experience because it's so incredibly common. You commit to a new plan, you're doing everything right, you're diligent with your meals, you're hitting the gym, and hey, the number on the scale is actually going down for a little while. But then, life happens and somehow you always end up right back where you started. It never seems to last. So what is going on there? Seriously, why does it feel like all that effort, all that sacrifice just doesn't matter in the long run? It's more than just frustrating. It can feel completely hopeless, but I promise you, understanding the why behind this whole cycle is the absolute first step to finally breaking free from it. Okay, so to figure out how to make weight loss permanent, we have to start with the science. And there is one single fundamental principle that governs everything. It's an unbreakable rule, and it's the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about. And that one rule is the calorie deficit. It's really that simple. You have to consume fewer calories than your body uses for energy. But look, the most important words on this slide are sustained period of time. A few good days here and there, that's not going to cut it for real lasting change. It's all about consistency. And check out this number because it really puts things into perspective. To lose just 1 single kilogram, that's about 2.2 pounds of actual body fat. You need to create a deficit of 7,000 to 8,000 kilocalories. That is a huge energy gap. And it really shows you why those quick fix diets are just doomed from the start. A long-term sustainable strategy is the only way that works. Now, to manage that deficit, you have to know where the calories are coming from. What's kind of interesting here is that protein and carbs have the exact same number of calories per gram, 4. Fat, on the other hand, is much more dense at 9. But here's a little insight. Even though they have the same calories, protein keeps you feeling full for way, way longer than carbs do. So it's not about fearing carbs or any other food group. It's about understanding how to use them strategically to your advantage. Okay, so we've got the science down. The calorie deficit is non-negotiable. But now let's get to the real secret weapon. This is the big idea, the mental shift that can change weight loss from this exhausting constant battle into a skill that you can actually learn and master. And here it is. The whole game isn't about how much you can deprive yourself or how much you can suffer through being hungry. No, the real goal is to learn the skill of satiety. It's about figuring out how to feel genuinely full and satisfied while still being in that calorie deficit. If you can crack that code, you're not just losing weight anymore. You're building a system to keep it off forever. So how do we actually do that? Well, it starts by tuning in and really listening to your body's signals. Think of hunger coming in 2 different stages. You've got early hunger, that gentle stomach gurgle, that little empty feeling. And then you've got late hunger. That's your body's emergency alarm system going off. It's that irritability, the fatigue, the shaking hands, the feeling that you need to eat right now. Sound familiar? Yeah. When you wait for that alarm to go off, you're almost guaranteed to overeat. And you know what? The exact same 2-stage process happens when you're feeling full. There's early satiety. That's the physical feeling of your stomach literally stretching as you eat. But late satiety, that deep, genuine feeling of satisfaction that can take an hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours, to fully register in your brain. This is exactly why eating slowly is such a game changer. It gives your brain the time it needs to catch up to your stomach, which stops you from blowing right past, "I'm full," and straight into, "I'm way too stuffed." All right, so how do we take all of this theory and make it practical? If the whole point is to feel full and satisfied while eating fewer calories, what does that actually look like on a dinner plate? The number 1 strategy is to focus on foods that have a low calorie density. That's just a fancy way of saying foods that give you a lot of volume. A lot of food on your plate for fewer calories. I mean, think about it. A little candy bar could have the same calories as a gigantic salad with grilled chicken and tons of veggies. Which one do you think is actually going to fill you up? If you aim for foods that are under 100 calories for every 100 grams, you can eat these huge, satisfying portions and still easily stay in a deficit. And let's be clear, this is not about eating boring, sad diet food. Just look at this list. We are talking about a massive variety of delicious, satisfying foods. All your favorite vegetables, fruits, lean proteins like chicken and fish, beans, grains. Building a filling plate is all about abundance, not restriction. So how do you put this all together without having to count every single calorie? The Harvard plate model is an amazing, super simple visual guide. Just fill half your plate with all those high volume veggies and greens. Fill 1/4 with a quality protein source to keep you full for hours. And then fill that last quarter with some complex carbs for that slow, steady energy. It's a simple formula for a meal that will leave you feeling completely satisfied. Okay, so you've built the perfect plate, awesome. But your habits around your meals can be just as important. Let's look at a few small tweaks that can make a massive difference in how full and satisfied you feel. Get this, you might be eating 20% more food at some of your meals without even knowing it. That's the average increase in how much we eat when we're distracted by a screen, like watching TV or scrolling on our phones. It makes sense, right? When your brain is totally focused on a show, it completely misses your body's signals that are screaming, hey, I'm full down here. So here are 4 super simple but really powerful habits you can start building. First, ditch the liquid calories from things like sodas or fancy coffees. They add up so fast and do absolutely nothing to make you feel full. Second, try ending your meal with a hot drink, like a cup of tea. It adds a little extra volume and it sends a clear signal to your brain that eating time is over. Third, always choose whole foods when you can. A real piece of fish will be so much more filling than the same amount of processed fish sticks. And finally, find smart swaps. You don't have to give up your favorite foods. Just find a lower calorie version of that sauce or dressing. Okay, we've covered the physical stuff, the food, the plate, the habits, but now we're at the final and honestly maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle, and that is mastering the mind game. This right here, this is a critical distinction. We have to learn to tell the difference between real, true hunger and just an appetite. True hunger is a physical need. It builds up gradually, you feel it in your body, and honestly, you'd be happy to eat an apple. Appetite, though, that's a mental want. It usually hits you all of a sudden, it's a thought in your head, and it's almost always for something very specific, like potato chips or that pint of ice cream in the freezer. And so this one simple question becomes your ultimate superpower. The next time you feel that urge to grab a snack, especially when it's not mealtime, just stop for 1 second and ask yourself, is this true physical hunger or is this just an appetite? Learning to tell the difference isn't some diet hack, it's a skill. It's a form of self-awareness, and it's the skill that puts you back in control and finally paves the way for results that actually last. Dear friends, if you liked the video, please leave a reaction, ask your questions in the comments if something remains unclear, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have prepared a lot of interesting topics for you.